Welcome back, everybody, to the Introspective Gamer Podcast. This is Monday, the 30th of January. I'll tell you what, that Switch is getting closer and closer by the minute. Only like 32 days until it comes. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I don't mean to get Australia on you. It's just, I'm really excited. I mean, I keep refreshing my Twitter feed and everything and visiting my news sites, and hopefully, there's another Switch rumor. I'm waiting for a Nintendo Direct to clear up this eShop situation, because we know that there's going to be launch games on the eShop, quote unquote, but we haven't had any concrete plans as to, a lot of people are worried about their virtual console releases. I'm just worried about the eShop in general. Now I read on a news story, and I can't remember where I heard it or read it from, the SD cards or micro SD cards are going to be supported after a launch day update. So you're going to have to connect to the internet to get an update before you can use those SD cards, which is kind of a bummer. I'm still going to buy one, but it makes me wonder if I'm going to really need one. I'm also kind of trying to hold off because I'm going to get me a 200 gigabyte one for $70. And I feel like it's in a nice sweet spot between the $40 128 gigabyte and the $200 256. So for $200 for $70, that's pretty good, I think. But yeah, I also wanted to upfront let y'all know that the format of this episode is going to be a little different. Right now I'm going to do my one topic for Monday, but it's going to be a really short version because I'm also going to be recording a spoiler cast for the movie Split. And so that's going to kind of take up the rest of my Monday topic. But I'm going to go ahead and record it today and throw it at the end of the podcast. So don't worry, you don't have to stop and delete and unsubscribe if you even subscribe. You should totally subscribe on your provider of choice. And yeah, so I'm going to put that in at the end. I just want to give you a heads up. If you haven't seen the movie Split, well then just get to the end of the third segment and bail out and come back when you're done. Or if you never want to see the movie Split, I recommend you listen to it and see if I explain enough that you might be like, nah, I'll check it out. Enough. I'm going to spoil it and everything. We're going to talk about it. It's a very interesting movie. Pretty good. But anyway, this topic is basically kind of a continuation of last week's topic. And that one I was discussing how to guarantee success of a system, or what makes a video game console successful. And as it must be obvious, there's a lot of factors that go into it, and I kind of covered them. I might have sounded like I was rushing through them. It's because I'm really trying to cram these things into 15 minutes. I don't want to bore you, even though I know a lot of people pretty sure think I am boring. But that's just kind of the way I talk. I like to explain things. And see, that's the thing. I would love if I could do this live and get question and answer feedback. I'm just not so certain my computer or my network my online can support that. And I don't have the money to get gigabit type internet. I don't even think they offer that here. But yeah, so it's one of those things where I don't know if I have the technology and the means necessary to do live shows. Because also I'm just starting out. I don't think anybody would be at the live shows anyway. But yeah, that's why I'm always saying, tweet me at unsaluted salt. No, that's my gamer tag. At unsaluted on Twitter. If you ever want to get in touch with me or ask me questions or just comment like, hey, you're doing a good job, or fuck off hippie, whatever you want to say, man, or ladies, whoever's listening. But yeah, so it takes a mixture of things to make a console successful, quote unquote, and nothing guarantees it. But I think today's topic is the expectations of all of these things that you're asking to be met. The criteria, I erased it. But it had to do with games, exclusives, price, ease of use, marketing, and I think one or two more. But yeah, you need all of these things to make a console successful. But even within that, you have to kind of work within certain expectations of your own, and realistically, the expectations that the companies are giving you, because they control your expectations. There's one thing if you're like, oh man, it blows my mind that people still are out there saying the Nintendo Switch is going to be just as powerful or more powerful than the PS4. And it's like, guys, get over it. It's not. But it doesn't have to be. But again, so this is what I'm talking about. They say that the Tegra chip inside is custom. It's not the first generation, and it's almost like nobody has said whether it's stronger, more powerful than the Tegra 1 or the Tegra X. I should have looked this stuff up. But nobody's saying if it's stronger before the first Tegra chip or the second. And so, nobody wants to put it in the middle ground either. And so they just say that it's custom Tegra architecture, which is fine. But because they say that, I mean, Nintendo's not saying this, and neither is Nvidia. It's people who are leaking rumors. They mention this. And again, they're just spreading a rumor. But the audience raises their expectations to unrealistic levels. And then when Nintendo starts actually giving the official message, some are in denial, some believe it, some lowball it, and they're like, well, shit. Then if Nintendo says it's not that powerful, then it must be just the same graphics as the Wii U. And nobody's ever said that. But yeah, I mean, it's also kind of like unsurprising because Nintendo hasn't officially gone out there and given tech specs. It's not released yet, but even when it does, I think we should ask ourselves as consumers and gaming fans, what does that mean for us in the end? Like when it's released and it's broken down, what does that mean? Like I bought in it, and if you're telling me it's not powerful, I mean I already paid the money. What do you want me to do about it? And what do you want Nintendo to do about it? And what do you want Nintendo to do with their partnership with Nvidia? And what do you want Sony to do in reaction to it, or Microsoft? What do you want? Like, I think that's kind of the crux of the problem is our expectations are kind of controlled by what the media tells us. Well, in this case, it was a rumor, so it wasn't that great of an example. But the expectations also, I think, fall on us. And it might be like, well, it's the company's fault for not being clear. Okay, so then let's step out of the Nintendo realm and let's go into the PlayStation realm or the Microsoft realm, where it's like, let's just create a fictional video game company. And let's say that they're releasing a brand new system and they say the most powerful console on Earth or the most powerful console ever. That statement is very loaded and it's totally PR/advertising speak. It's marketing, which makes gamers and the casual consumers say, holy shit, the most powerful ever. Wow. And then it's got people saying, well, what is the most powerful now? Because that means it's stronger than that. And right now, it would have to be the PS4. But it also would make another group of people ask, well, what about the Scorpio? That thing's coming out soon, and that thing's got like 10 teraflops in it. It doesn't say, like, ever in existence for... The phrase is the most powerful console ever. Not the last console you'll ever need or the most powerful console that we will ever make. And so it's one of those things of like the message is purposely confusing for the consumer because it's supposed to be simple. You see how stupid that sounds? But that's exactly what marketing is. To confuse you enough to make you think that it's simple. Oh, the most powerful console ever. End of story. When I buy this is going to be more powerful than PS4, PS4 Pro, Xbox One S, and the Switch combined. Because it's the most powerful ever. That's what they're telling me. And then gamers are going to be like, well, I got to get that dev kit, or I got to get it in my hands first to break it down. You can do that, but you're still not going to be any closer to the reality that the marketers are presenting to you. Because it's unrealistic. It's fake. And so it's one of those things, I think that, like I said, today's topic was mostly about expectations and how I think the answer to what we should be expecting is kind of what you want and keeping that in a realistic sense. Because what you want, I mean, shit, I want Nintendo to, let's say you're crazy ass and you want Nintendo to destroy Microsoft and Sony so they're the only console manufacturers and everyone has to love Nintendo. If you're crazy like that, number one, that's never going to happen. That's not realistic. It gets rid of competition, which is going to limit innovation, and Nintendo will become what you hate. Like, it doesn't take a genius, I guess, to see that is a short-term solution and a long-term failure. But if you really want that, well, then you're going to always be disappointed. Like, it's part of the fanboy conversation of people who are very disappointed in the Switch when it was revealed. It was one of those things of, if you pay attention, people who went in with low expectations were satisfied or even hyped, which was, I think I fall in that camp. I really wasn't expecting anything because I don't. I try to be realistic, but I get caught up in the hype all the time. But I think people who kind of maybe let themselves believe in like weird rumors or let themselves believe that Nintendo was having their second coming or something, I think they're the ones who are the most disappointed. And like they just basically wanted them to make a console that could compete head to head with Sony and Microsoft, and they didn't get it. And so now to them, they're like, well, they obviously aren't listening to their fans. But like I mentioned in another podcast, fans or quote unquote hardcore gamers kind of have multiple consoles and don't limit themselves to one ecosystem and have a diverse variety of gameplay and styles and stuff. So for them to say they're not listening to their fans, it's like, well, yeah, they're not listening to you because you obviously are like a part of the Microsoft Sony ecosystem and you would like a Nintendo console as well. They're targeting the people who are only going to buy Nintendo or know that they can invade their home easier with a tennis game, like, you know, the casual consumer market. So yeah, they're not marketing to you, and so your expectations are shattered because you were expecting what they're not delivering. But that's not Nintendo's fault, and it's also not entirely your fault because, and I know I'm rambling and going back and forth, but I'm just trying to, this is exactly what I'm saying. I mean, the back and forth is pretty crazy because you as a consumer always have to be on your toes. But marketers expect you not to. They want you to be asleep at the wheel so you can just accept whatever bullshit they spit at you. And, I mean, that's kind of it. This rant could go on forever in a loop, and there's really nothing to prove. I'm just, today's topic was more about closing up last week's topic and just kind of putting into perspective how, as a consumer, just be open to different ideas and to stay on your toes when it comes to marketing speak, and don't believe everything you hear. And as a marketer, I mean, don't be that way. Don't be assholes. But whatever. They're going to do what they do. We do what we do. Alright, thank you guys. And I will cut it. Didn't cut too short. I'm still at the damn 12-minute mark. But I will end this segment here, and I will see you on the other side, which will be Tuesday. Alright, catch you later. Welcome back. Today is Tuesday the 31st, and not a lot's happening right now in the gaming world. Again, we just got off the holidays in December, and I think right now we're still kind of waiting for announcements to come. Well, I'm not going to say that nothing's happened. There's a lot of different things that have happened. Nothing that particularly interests me, except for that Horizon Zero Dawn. I mean, it's gone gold, and so I'm pretty excited about that. I don't know why. I don't have a PS4. I'm not going to be able to play this game. But the footage that just came out for preview event that the press was able to go to, I mean, that game looks fucking awesome. Like the open world, all the missions, the beasts is, to me, this is what games were made for. I mean, yeah, we could tell like great stories and do these walking simulators that people play on the PC and stuff and indie games. I think those are important too from an artistic point of view. But I think for like what games allow us to do, kind of like how animation allows us to tell different and vast stories using imagination, and it allows you to see things that you would never be able to see. Like the creators are able to bring the abstract into reality, and that to me is what this Horizon Zero Dawn brings. It's like a world that we've never seen before, and the premise is something that we've seen but not done like this. And it really has to do with those damn robotic animals. I mean, a lot of post-apocalyptic worlds. You know what this is? This kind of reminds me of like almost like a Planet of the Apes type of vibe. Like obviously post-Planet of the Apes, when you know that the apes are on the same planet as Earth. It's kind of like that, where you could have made a game using this character and these creatures, and at the very end spoiled that we've been on Earth the whole time. It probably wouldn't be as dramatic, but now the fact that the Earth's past is a part of the story makes you wonder, how did it end up like this? Who created these creatures, or did these creatures land? I mean, again, there's not a lot of story elements that are exposed, But even if the story is subpar, I think it brings up a lot of interesting questions. It allows a lot of these creatures and things to come into play. And again, open world games, they're a dime a dozen nowadays. I feel like there's quite a bit of variety to them. But I think, again, with the PS4 allows you to do with how expansive the world is, and again, it's up to the developer to make the side quests not get boring and stuff. But I just feel like this is a culmination of what games should be. They should strive to be. Again, who knows if it's going to be a 10 out of 10. I mean, people think Grand Theft Auto is what we should strive to be. And I think that's the problem I have with Grand Theft Auto. I've never really been into the series, and the little bit I've played it, I just don't get it or care for it. And it's because it's too real. It's kind of just my taste and my entertainment. Movies, books, I don't like them when they're too close to reality. I don't mind nonfiction, but when I'm reading fiction that's basically trying to tell me a fictional story of something that could realistically happen, I find pretty boring. Like whether it's war or Pinche Maniac McGee or stuff like that, I feel is really dry because it's like, why don't you tell me a real story? Because I bet you a real story is more interesting than this fake story about a kid who's homeless or a runaway slave, or like it's one of those things where there's real versions of these fake stories that I think are more interesting to tell. I want to see and hear something fake, like really fake, and that's when you get into fantasy and science fiction, and that's when you see a game like this where you're like, yes, this is a story I want. I don't know what happened, I don't know what's gonna happen, it's all new. But if you say that, oh, this video game is about a child who got lost from their village, and it's like, okay, like that's cool, but unless this village is like walking lions or something like that, I don't care. You know what I mean? Not that I don't care, it's just one of those things. I mean, a lot of children are abandoned and stuff in real life. I think it'd be more interesting to do a real life game on that, like do a Hitman where you're following a child trafficker and you actually go through some places where you see children locked up or see children getting sold. Again, I'm not going to get all political, but I think if you were to tell a fake story that shows reality in it, or even just, again, show a realistic portrayal of a fake story, again, there's a lot of things. I guess you could say I'm nitpicky. But anyway, I mean, that was the first topic. Was just, I'm really hyped for Horizon Zero Dawn. I really hope it does well. And, I mean, it's too bad that it's not coming to Xbox One or the Switch. But it does bring me to my next topic, which is I really wish that if it did come out to any of the systems, it would come to Switch. And it's because that game looks epic, but I'm also glad I'm not going to be able to play it because it's too epic for me personally. And what I mean by that is I really like portable. Like right now my 3DS is the console I play the most out of everything I own. And it's because I can take it with me. I can take it with me to work. I can take it with me to I guess it's mostly where I take it to. But if my wife wants to watch Criminal Minds on Netflix, I'm able to say, okay, can I bring my DS? And she's like, sure, unless she wants me to pay attention that night, then I'll just focus on the show. But still, the fact that I can play games while she's watching Criminal Minds, and I can look up and catch up with the show in like 3 minutes, and then look back down, play some games, look up. I'm able to do what I want and do it in small chunks of time, and I don't feel like it's a big investment, even if I'm playing something like on an epic scale. Like I was playing Xenoblade Chronicles a couple of months ago, and that game I know is super long. I didn't even finish it. That's how long it is. But I did give a good like 40 hours or 30 hours of my time into it, and I was grinding a lot, so that's why I didn't progress too far in the story. But even if I did, I hear that the story is just that big. But it's one of those things that I really appreciated that experience because I didn't feel pressure like, oh, let me sit down and sink 5 to 10 hours so that I make a dent in this. And it's because I can't. I mean, my son is getting older. He's playing games. So if I ever want to play games, I have to share the game TV with him. And I don't have a console hooked up to the main TV. But I'm also not a TV person. Like, if I want to do anything with my spare time, I don't read books. I don't listen to music. I don't watch TV. I play video games. And so if my son wants to play his Lego City or his Skylanders, hey, do what you do. I'll just play my 3DS. I don't care. Because I'm also not in any rush to sit down in front of a TV either. I like that I can play my game and then close it, eat some cereal, open it, play some more, close it, finish my soggy cereal at that point. And then, like, I like the mobility aspect. And again, it's like, oh, I'm not able to finish, put it in sleep, let it charge, and then take it to work later and finish what I need to at lunch. You know, like, that's just neat to me. Which also why, like, a game like Horizon Zero Dawn, or more specifically, I mean, to get to what I'm thinking of, is Zelda Breath of the Wild on the Switch really excites me. Because, if I'm able to, I'll play it on the TV. But if not, then I don't mind taking it to work or taking it to the living room and playing it there. Like, or watching Criminal Minds and playing that. Like, I really like the portability aspect. But again, it's very case specific with me because of the way my life is between my family and my games and my job. I also totally understand. I mean, there's people who are my age. I'm 27, by the way. I believe I'm 27. I don't keep track of my age. It's not very important to me. I'll die when I'm ready. But, yeah, like, I know people who are my age and older, and they seem to be able to play games all the time. But if you pay attention, I mean, it's just them and their boyfriend or girlfriend, or just them single, and they can invest that time. Even if they have pets, pets are just, throwaway kind of companions that are there when you want and need them to be, but not really in your way, which is why people, I think, like them more than children, which is pretty shitty. At least that's my opinion, but whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where I know I could carve out gaming time or stay up late or wake up early, but I mean, come on, it's just a game. But that's why if I'm going to play, I'd rather have it in a portable form. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. And then the last topic, just because I kind of keep, whenever I'm watching something, so again, quick aside, is that basically, I think I mentioned in a previous episode that I don't have cable, and if I didn't, I don't have cable. And I only get entertainment from Netflix. Like, we have very basic cable that gets you, like, the PBS or KLRN or whatever y'all call it in your local hometown. And, like, local news. But that's it. Other than that, we have Netflix. And that's it. Like, most people kind of are like, what about, the CMAs or the MTV Music Awards? I don't care about any of that stuff. Like, it's all drama and fake and staged and whatever. That's another topic entirely. But yeah, I mean, I've been watching a lot of pretty good stuff on Netflix, and I just kind of wanted to go through what I've been watching and just recommending it or not recommending it, and pretty much everything I think I'm going to recommend. Well, okay, not one. But basically, recently I saw this movie Spectral, and it's basically, I mean, the plot, I'm like, no spoilers on any of these, but basically the plot is soldiers fighting ghosts, and they don't know why, like where the ghost came from and stuff like that. And that's all I'm going to say. I highly recommend it. This isn't your typical, like, sci-fi channel type movie. The budget on it's pretty good. And, I mean, there's some plot twists and stuff. It's just an overall good movie. Like, 1 through 10, I'd say 7. And I'm going to leave that one there. If you like sci-fi, if you like action, I would check that movie out. The next one is Crazy Head, which is basically about these two girls who hunt demons. And it's a very shallow summary of it. There's a lot more going on. Again, I think you should check it out. It's kind of a comedy, it's very British. Takes place over there in in the UK or wherever. I wish I knew more about that geography. I sound like an idiot probably to any UK listeners or British listeners, but yeah, I mean, it's that kind of humor. So if you like that, then you'll like Crazy Head. If you don't, you don't. It's really dry, I guess, in a sense. It's a dry, funny, and the demons are not what you think. They're just humans they're demons in human form, so it's just people hunting and avoiding evil-looking humans from time to time. The third thing is a movie called Skip Trace, which I've wanted to see. I'm not a closet Jackie Chan fan. I really like Jackie Chan movies, but I also know that they're really dumb and cheesy. And this one is just the latest Jackie Chan partner movie where he teams up with Johnny Knoxville. And he's basically traveling across Russia and China with Johnny Knoxville. And I guess the basic plot is that Johnny Knoxville saw something he shouldn't have, and now he needs Jackie Chan's protection. So that's a very basic plot. Again, if you've seen Rush Hour, if you've seen Shanghai Noon, then you know what you're getting with these type of movies. Don't expect anything different. But it's also a very different take, I think, on Jackie Chan movie, only because a lot of his movies where he's, you know what, I don't want to spoil anything. If you're interested in Jackie Chan movies, watch it. If not, so I see this is the one where I would recommend, but I could totally see people saying avoid this movie at all costs because it sucks. Again, you know what you like, and if you don't, well, watch this movie and see if you like it or not. And then the last one is it's called Troll Hunters by Guillermo del Toro, and it's a really good show. I mean, I would say I saw it with my son, and he was really into it. The fact that I liked it, I wanted to see it really, so I was hoping he would like it, so that I wouldn't have to force him to watch it. And yeah, he liked it, so me and him just watched it together. It's a really good show. Makes me want to read the book. I've never read the book, so I'll probably end up doing that later. But yeah, I mean, it's about a little boy. So the Troll Hunters follows the storyline of the Troll Hunter, and it's basically an amulet that gives the Troll Hunter powers, and it's typically been a troll. But the very first episode, you see the Troll Hunter get killed, and for some reason the amulet calls out to a human, and so that's kind of sets up the plot for the rest of the show, of how he copes with being the new Troll Hunter and leading a double life. It's a very good show. Again, you have to check. It's kind of fantasy, kind of sci-fi. Well, I wouldn't. To me, sci-fi is a lot of things, but yeah, I guess it leans more toward fantasy. Again, really good show. If you like cartoons, like kid shows, you're gonna like it. And if you don't, hell, you'll still like it. There's a lot of neat stuff in there. And again, because it comes from Guillermo, it's got like that Pan's Labyrinth type feel to it. It's one of those things. I even saw pictures of the book. The book, I think, deals with more mature type of things. And the show really dumbs it down to a kid-friendly level. But there's still very dark themes in here. Really good, really fascinating. And I will go ahead and cut myself off here because I think I've gone on long enough for this segment. And I will see y'all on Wednesday. Thank you for listening. Bye. For now. And welcome back. This is Wednesday, February 1st. And I had some topics lined up that were kind of dry because there's not much gaming news happen. But then Nintendo just unloaded all this good stuff on us from different interviews with, I think, Nikkei, and I think some stuff is still trickling out from the financial meeting, their investors presentation. But also they dropped the Super Bowl ad that they're going to air for the Nintendo Switch. And there's a 30-second version which they're going to show on TV, and then there's like a 2 or 3 minute version that's on the internet. I saw the 2 or 3 minute version, and then I found out that it was a Super Bowl ad, and I was like, holy smokes, like, well, first of all, I mean, I don't know the numbers. I didn't crunch them. I probably should have. But I heard or read in the comment thread that 30 seconds of ad time for Super Bowl is $4 million. And that was in the past. Who knows what it is now? It's probably way more. But that's pretty insane. But it also makes good advertising sense for Nintendo to grab it during this time slot. Because, all eyes are on the game. All eyes are on the commercials because that's become a thing. And even though it's just 30 seconds, it only highlights Breath of the Wild, the Zelda game. But the next day and the next morning, everybody always collects them and it's like the best Super Bowl commercials and does a compilation. And it's usually the longer versions, which is even weirder because some Super Bowl commercials are commercials for commercials. It'll be like a Geico commercial. Or actually, no, leading up to the game, it's like 10, 30-second clip. And it's like, see the full clip. During the Super Bowl, or even during the Super Bowl, it'll play something like again, another minute-long clip or 30-second clip. Considering it costs millions of dollars, 30 seconds is all you need, and they encourage you to visit their website or to watch the rest on YouTube later, which again is weird. It's fascinating, but that's how much money this damn corporation makes. But again, I mean, to me, it's just a smart business move, again, for marketing and advertising purposes, to get the Switch in front of people. I saw somebody on my Facebook feed who doesn't talk about video games, and they posted the commercial to their timeline and were like, I think I might need to get this. So obviously they never heard of it before now, and now all of a sudden they're interested in it. They don't even know what it is, what it does, but the commercial was enough for them to be like, all right, new Nintendo, I'm in for it. And then another cool thing that happened today was, I think this is from like a Nikkei interview. that somebody translated, and it was basically talking about the online pricing that they're going to introduce in the fall. And right now, this is for Japan. It was like, I don't remember what it was in yen, but the yen roughly translated to a U.S. currency was between like $17 and $25 or something like that. And he said that would be annually. Again, this is only for Japan, but let's say we're paying $25 American dollars a year for Nintendo's online service. I would say that's pretty good. I mean, considering right now Xbox One and PS4 are $60 each, I mean, half the price. Again, there's also compromises, which is the basically rented virtual console game for the month that they take away at the end. The voice chat seems to be connected to a phone app, and we're also still not too sure who's going to provide the infrastructure for their servers, or how that's going to work. Because if we're paying less, should we expect less of a quality service? Even though Kimishima said that the fact that we're paying is guaranteeing that we're going to get a quality service, it's still up in the air considering the competitors charge $60, which realistically, I mean, not many people pay $60 a year. I mean, some do, but for the most part, they sell like those Live and PlayStation Plus cards on sale pretty often for like $45 or $50. So it's still one of those. But again, taken in context, they could discount on sale during the holidays these Nintendo subscription cards to $20 or something like that. I'm assuming that when it does get roughly translated, because of the power of the yen or the power of the dollar, we might end up paying $30 a year, which again is still pretty good considering that, you know, it's kind of different from the $17 benchmark that they put it at in the conversion from yen. So, I mean, I have no complaints here. But it does bring me to a different topic. I have a few others, but they're really not important because I know that whenever I pick a topic, I usually go longer than I should, and then I end up talking really fast or trying to cram more information than I need to. But I'm just going to jump to the last topic, which is basically, it ties in with the online conversation, which is voice chat through the phone, and if it's a good idea. I know a lot of people don't like it, or a lot of people think it's dumb, and why can't you just jack into the Switch? And I think Reggie explained it in an interview, and it makes a lot of sense, but it's still one of those things that I think there should... Okay, so basically what Reggie said was, since it's something you can take with you while you're playing at home and you can take it on the go, the voice chat option would be something that should be something that's compatible with that play style. And so if you have people typically are used to sitting on the couch at home, playing with their headset and just, you know, playing and shutting out the outside world. But since this thing is something you take with you on the go, you're going to have to pack up your Switch and then pack up your headset, which in theory is bulky, I guess. I mean, but headsets are big, but considering that you're already carrying a Switch, you probably have a backpack. I don't see how it's too bad. But he was basically just saying, since you can take it with you, why not take it with you to the library, to the mall, or to wherever you're headed, and then play your online match wherever you're at. Without having to carry around a headset, you can use your phone. Now, whether he means you're holding the phone against your ear or whether you're plugging in a headset into the phone, that's yet to be clarified. But that was his logic, that you don't want to be carrying around a bulky headset. Everybody always carries their phone, so just take your phone and your Switch and you're good to go. Now, again, a lot of people are like, well, why do I have to pay for this? That's a good question, honestly. I mean, it's a very valid one because there are a lot of different apps like Skype and FaceTime, and it really depends on what you're using. I know a lot of gamers use Discord. I've never used it, but I know it's something that currently people are using pretty often. And you can use all of those services without having to pay Nintendo. But if you're not paying, you're also not able to play online in the first place. So I think it's just one of those things where it's like they already got you on the hook to pay for online. And yeah, you don't have to use their voice chat option. But if you're already going to use your phone, you might as well just use their app. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to defend Nintendo or anything. It's just one of those things. If you already are going to end up using your phone, you might as well use their app. I think that's what they're counting on. But, you can always stick it to them, I guess, by just using Discord. But at the same time, how much are you sticking it to them if you're still paying them $30 a month? But like I was saying earlier in the beginning, I think that they should at least allow an option for people who are not going to take. I know a lot of people on the internet who have mentioned that they're not gonna undock this thing. This is gonna be a home console for them, and I think those people should have the option to just plug into their Switch. Well, you see, that's the thing. I mean, when you're playing in TV mode, unless the Pro controller has a headphone jack, I'm not too sure if that's been confirmed or not. But when you're playing in TV mode, the Switch is docked. So unless you're gonna have like a 7 to 15-foot cable from your Switch dock all the way to your headphones, I don't see how that works. Again, obviously, I know there's wireless options. We don't know the wireless frequencies that it's gonna use and whether it can sync up with wireless headsets, this, that, and the other. We don't know all that yet. But that's kind of, again, the solution and the problem is that we don't know a lot yet, and Nintendo needs to give us information if it doesn't want to, hear the fans or gamers in an uproar. Like, the pricing today really squashed a lot. A lot of people did a complete 180 to fuck this stuff to, I'm totally down for $30 a month, even if it's a gimped, games with gold service. I don't mind. And it's really fascinating because it's like, why didn't you just say this sooner? And then nobody would have been all up in your face about it. But again, that's Nintendo. They do what they do. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the gist of my idea. I mean, what do y'all guys think? Is voice chat through a phone a good idea? Is it a bad idea? Is it something you're gonna use? Are y'all guys excited to watch the Super Bowl or to watch the Switch commercial during the Super Bowl? I'm not. That's because I'm not into sports and I don't care about the commercials because of, like I said, they just compile them for you the next day. So why don't you just wait till the next day and watch the commercials instead of wasting like 4 or 5 hours watching a game and a commercial? But whatever, to each his own. But yeah, I will see you guys on the other side. I have one more segment, and it'll probably be a short one, just like this one was kind of short. And it's because I have the spoilercast for Split. I'm going to insert that at the very end. And since that's its own like 15-60 minute chunk, I'm trying to condense my other segments. But I hope you enjoy this. Again, if you have any questions or comments, go ahead and tweet at me at unsaluted. And of course, I'll probably keep saying that at the end of every segment. But until then, which will be tomorrow in 5 minutes, I will see you on the other side. Bye. And welcome back, everybody. It is Thursday, February the 2nd, and I mean, the only thing of note, I'm not going to lie to you guys, not a lot's happened. I mean, I've done some cool stuff, but in the gaming news, not a lot's happening. Except Fire Emblem Heroes came out today for mobile, and I'll tell you what, I can't speak for anyone else, but in North America, it was pretty shitty the way it launched because I actually was waiting until midnight, and because I work overnight, I kept checking my phone during my shift, and nothing. And it was all the way up until 2 p.m., and that's when I just stopped checking, and around like 4 or 5, I ended up checking again, and it was up. But there was all these stories in like Europe and in Asian countries and stuff like that. Everybody else had it, and I was like, come on, man. And some background, I'm not going to say I hate Fire Emblem, but I'm not a fan. And so I really want to see if I can get into this mobile game, and maybe it'll encourage me to check out a full game. I mean, I tried the demo on the 3DS of Awakening, but, I mean, demos are supposed to make it seem good. This one, I want to see if I enjoy the grind. Because that, I mean... when I was actually going to do the topic of a grind yesterday, but then when Nintendo threw out that Super Bowl commercial, I mean, that's different. And now today, I just want to talk about how I've been trying to play it, but right now I'm just kind of picking up, doing errands of different things. So I'm probably not going to play it today. I'll probably play it at work, probably tomorrow. And let's see if I like it. I'll give you some impressions next week. But what I want to talk about today, the only topic, was actually a continuation from yesterday, which is voice chat in games. And specifically, I was talking about, the Nintendo solution using a phone and how I think it should be an option rather than a necessity. But I was also considering voice chat in general. And I don't know, I mean, plain and simple, I don't really have friends that I play with or a community that I play with. And so I don't really voice chat. Therefore, since I never voice chat, I don't see it as necessary to enjoy a game. Like Splatoon, a lot of people are like, oh man, if you had voice chat and Splatoon, your team could coordinate and it could conquer, and it would be great. But it's like, number one, I don't have a team, and number two, I've never had a problem with like a bad team. It's like, surprisingly, Splatoon's one of the few games that I've played and people are into it. You know, like sometimes you play in like Call of Duty, or Battlefield, or Titanfall, and people just dick around and they just like go in circles, or they think they're some sort of elite hack swords or whatever the fuck the internet lingo is these days. And yeah, they just don't do anything, and they purposely squat on the controller or just do nothing. But in Splatoon, I mean, for the most part, unless you're playing with like a 5-year-old or something, I think the ranking system does a good job. Now I'm talking about ranked battles. When you're playing Turf Wars, yeah, it's hit or miss. And I know that because I'm that guy. I'll let my son play sometimes, and he just sits around or just sprays the same corner over and over. So yeah, I'm sorry, I'm that guy. But in ranked battles anyway, I mean, I've never had a bad match of people not wanting to win, or people not kind of getting the hint of. And even when I lose, see, that's the thing. Sorry. Even when I lose, I mean, I still had fun while I played. So to me, I really don't, I'm not super competitive. I mean, I don't like to lose. I get pretty upset when I'm losing multiple games in a row. But at that point, I just turn it off and play something else. I'm not like, like, it's one of those things. I play games to enjoy them and have fun. So I'm not really going to stress too much if I had a mic, me and my team could own these guys. It's like, yeah, keep telling yourself that. But also tell yourself that it's just a game and that you probably should go outside and get some exercise. Like, in context of what we're actually doing when we're playing games. It's to have fun. It's just to interact, But yeah, I mean, I just find it interesting because I think it also takes me to another topic, wasn't planned by the way, of how I think voice chat and a few other features that people are complaining about are actually... I guess you could call them like high-level accessories or features, or even boutique items. So like voice chat. I mean, a lot of casuals don't use it. The Pro Controller, people are complaining that it's $70. It's labeled the Pro Controller, and a lot of people that are saying it are like, I like the bigger buttons. I can see me using this in fighting games. Casual players don't care. They kind of just take what they get and see it as, this is the stock option. I mean, if there was a really big problem, you would see a lot more Pro Controllers selling. But the fact that people kept buying Wii remotes and kept buying, people just kept buying Wii remotes through the Wii era and through the Wii U era for some multiplayer games, except for the dedicated fans. And in that case, it's like, who's really buying these things? Even the second TV dock of like, $90 for another dock. All it is just like a USB-C to HDMI connector. It's like, yeah, but what casual person is gonna spend $90 on that? Nobody. It's the quote unquote pro players, the dedicated fans. And I think when you think of it in that aspect, it's still shitty for those fans, but it's also like a loud minority of like, hey, we don't like this, and Nintendo's just like, well, then don't buy it. I mean, we're not making a lot of them to begin with, because in terms of those, the ports that you can put on your other TVs, they're probably not gonna make a lot of them because they don't expect people to be like, I just spent $300. I need to spend $90 more to put in my bedroom TV and my living room TV and my game room TV. It's like, no. Casual people are going to bring the system home, hook it up to their one TV they use for video games, and leave it there. I mean, again, it's like I'm saying, they're like boutique items that appeal to a very certain demographic that's a lot smaller than what people make it out to be. So let's say in the 2 million launch units, okay, that's not a good statistic because the 2 million people who are buying it on launch are going to be diehard fans. But let's say it sells big. It sells like Wii numbers. 100 million people buy it. Out of those 100 million... legit 2 to 3 million will be the ones who buy the ports, the Pro Controllers, who are using voice chat on a regular basis, who are paying, not so much paying for internet service, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like buying download games, buying $200 micro SD cards or $70 ones. The casual consumer is just going to buy the $20 one or buy the one that Nintendo throws in their face. Like, they're not going to think past a certain level because they're not invested in the hobby or the culture as much as other people. I think that was just me going off on a little rant of how I think sometimes we lose perspective of who the market is at, who they're actually marketing for, which some fans might keep in perspective, which is why they get pissed because they're like, oh, they keep marketing to these casuals and they're forgetting about the gamers, and it's like, but they're not, because they still offer us options, and then when they do, we get mad because they're trying to scalp from us, and it's like, well, I mean, you're asking for something that not, in the grand scheme of things, not many people are going to use and buy. Like, only you and your gaming friends and the gaming journalists that are complaining about this care, because, yeah, they work in a gaming office where everybody would rather have the premium product rather than just the base. But, yeah, I mean, it's just interesting. And like I said, there's really not much going on. I'm just, like, as always, as you will be on Friday or Saturday, I'm glad it's the end of the week and can't wait to relax. And hopefully Nintendo gives us more good news. I mean, we're already in the last 28 days or 26 days until the Switch is released. No, 28 is more accurate. But yeah, we're in the last 26 days, so I'm looking forward to every week something coming out, whether it's an interview or a direct announcement about the eShop online, maybe more launch window dates of when we're actually going to get this stuff. I mean, I'm just ready for some Switch news. But alrighty, guys, thanks for tuning in. And right now, we're going to transition to the spoiler cast for the movie Split. Again, if y'all don't want to hear that, you can bail out now. And if not, go ahead and, stick around and see. Hopefully you enjoy that segment. And, yeah, if you have any comments or questions, tweet at me at Unsaluted. And I will see you guys next week. I don't know why I do this outro, because I have the pre-recorded bit that does it for me. But I think I just want more feedback on my Twitter. But we'll see what happens. All right, I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for listening. Bye. All right, guys, this is the Split spoiler cast section. And if you don't want to hear about it, go ahead and pause or stop. And if you do want to hear about it, whether you've seen the movie or not, or if you don't care to see the movie, go ahead and stick around. Why not? You're already here. I'm going to go ahead and count down from 5, and if you're still here, well, you get what you get. I warned you. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, well, first off, I want to get my mini review out of the way. I just want to say that I really liked the movie for a lot of reasons. The performances were good by the actors and actresses. And the plot itself, I think, was pretty decent. And you're going to find out really quickly, when it comes to movies, I just nitpick. Even if I love the damn movie, I just really have a hard time accepting some plot points and plot holes. But anyway, general synopsis of the movie, just to give us all a refresher, even though we've all just seen it. The movie starts off really quick, where girls get kidnapped by this guy with multiple personalities. I'm going to go ahead and refer to it as DID, the way they do. But it's short for dissociative identity disorder. But I've never heard it called DID the way they did. But obviously I'm not in circles like that. I don't know anybody like that. But anyway, so this guy's got DID of 23 personalities. And he basically is letting them know that the beast is coming, which you find out is the 24th personality. And by the time people find it out, it's too late. He unleashes it. He kills 2 of the girls, kills his therapist, and he leaves the last girl alone because she cuts herself because she was abused growing up. And then at the very end, you find out that it's in the Unbreakable universe and that Bruce Willis is still alive and kicking. And he don't give a shit. He's drinking his coffee. End of story. Okay. So for some pretext, I have never seen Unbreakable. And I was telling my wife this before. All I told her before she saw it was that at the very end, it sets up a sequel from one of his previous movies. And that's all I told her. She's seen Unbreakable, and she was just like, oh. But, my brother-in-law on his Facebook, he posted that when people saw it, he heard audibly people say, oh, shit. So I guess it depends on how big of a fan you are of Unbreakable. I'm going to check it out soon. I hope to. Because now I'm curious, because I'm like fucking M. Night over here making cinematic universes that I got to keep up with this bullshit, It's one of those things. It's a cool twist. It's neat. But it also, to me, falls into the trope of cinematic universes, and it's like, this is getting to become work. It's like, I just want to watch a movie and enjoy it. And now you're telling me, oh, don't forget to do your homework if you haven't seen my prequels. It's like, thanks. That's exactly what I wanted. After seeing this 2-hour bullshit, you want me to spend like 17 more hours getting caught up? Which is not what he's asking. But of course, you're going to see a lot of people probably dig through more than just Unbreakable to see if it's connected in other ways to other movies. And that's the thing. You know what? I'm not going to get into cinematic universes right now. But yeah, I'll go ahead and just break down the movie from the beginning, and I'll try to keep it also under 15 minutes. But yeah, I really liked how the movie started. I mean, it doesn't waste time, and that's kind of what I appreciate, is that the movie in general doesn't waste time. Things happen very fast. I mean, they're at a birthday party. Let's take that poor suicidal girl home, or depressed chick home. Bam. Dad gets his ass knocked out. They get kidnapped. In the first 5 minutes, we already know where we're at. And then very quickly, see, I don't think he did this on purpose. Maybe he did. But you find out that his, oh man, I can't remember their names. And I was talking to my wife. I was like, oh, this guy and this guy. But basically, the main strong character with the glasses, that personality who kidnapped them, you find out that he likes to watch teenage girls dance. And so it kind of sets up this weird pedophilia type interaction. The topic of pedophilia and molestation kind of is brought up very early. And so that's how I was like, oh boy, you know, I'm glad that the lady personality told him not to do that anymore, because that's uncomfortable. But then, slowly but surely, you find out that the main character, the female, she was abused by her uncle. And that's a really tough scene to watch, too. And it's one of those things, I mean, I don't know if you heard the last podcast, but in general, me and my wife, we love children. That's why we had children. And we're kind of very concerned for their well-being. And my wife is all up. She's had, like, training and things like that when it comes to child abuse and stuff. And so she's all used to that. But when I'm seeing these scenes, and I'm very uncomfortable, and I'm very sad and emotional, because I'm like, oh God, this is the worst. But I'm also glad that they show this stuff, because I think too many people don't realize how common it is, and just how, you know, like the movie implies. I mean, everyone from the first 5 minutes, everyone kind of just, oh, she's always getting in trouble, she's an attention seeker. And it's like, yeah, motherfuckers, those are cries for help. Again, the movie doesn't hit you over the head with this stuff, but if you pay attention to the clues, I mean, that's what happens. That's real. Even the very end, it's one of those things that me and my wife were like, that's the real story, is this whole abuse thing that he kind of hid underneath the main plot of the transformation of, oh, I'm going to call him Kevin, because I know that's what his real name is, but I can't remember his other personalities, except for Hedwig, the 9-year-old boy. But yeah, I mean, besides the Kevin storyline where he's turning into the Beast, I think her abuse is like a main storyline, because at the very end, the cops are like, you know, your guardian's here, your uncle. And it's like, oh shit, you know, like she just escaped hell with this guy, and she's still living in hell. Like, what is she going to do? How's she going to cope with it? These are questions that, I mean, my wife also had, but we're also like, fuck, you know, like, that's real. I mean, the audience doesn't care, because we're like, oh no, what's gonna happen to the Horde and Mr. Glass is, you know, the Bruce Willis guy. And it's like, oh, you know, like, shit, that's real. Because just like they implied in the beginning, this girl's got issues, but everybody just ignores her. And now everyone's just gonna ignore her, because even though she was a survivor, we gotta worry about the Horde now on the loose. So anyway, I mean, I wanted to get that out of the way, because to me that was a really interesting big part of the movie that I know is going to be underplayed, because we got the Horde and we got Kevin and his whacked out personalities. But overall, I think the movie itself was played really well. I think did a good job of McAvoy doing his different personalities, the way he would change his face and his body posture. It helped help lend to the credibility of his performance. The only one I had a problem with was Hedwig, because, I mean, I don't know if y'all guys know 9-year-old boys, but they don't talk like they're 7 or 6 or 5. I have a bad age range when guessing how infantile he was talking, but 9-year-olds are a lot smarter than the way he was talking. He made 9-year-olds seem dumb, which is, I don't know if it's his fault, the writer's fault, It's whatever. But that personality I had a problem with. But I could also believe the gullibility of that personality, believing the other two, and trusting in the beast and his abilities. Even at the end, he's like really happy because he's like, now no one will make fun of us, and that this is super cool. Like he's psyched about being a super beast. Rob Zombie reference. And but yeah, that's really all there is to say. I mean, the movie was really good. There really isn't anything. You see, well, now we're gonna get into my nitpickiness. I was telling my wife that I have a problem with the way some things were like set up, real neat, like a little package. I told her it felt like a video game, like how Kevin gains consciousness at the end, and in the 2 seconds he's alive, he's like, my shotgun's in my drawer and my bullets are in the locker, and he changes into all these personalities before the beast comes back, and it's like she gets the shotgun. It's like, oh, it's a good thing Kevin had that information, and then the fucking old lady writing down the password to unlock to call Kevin forward. It was like, wow, very convenient that she wrote that down. And so it's like, I was just telling my wife, why would she write that? Like, who? And yeah, I get it if the cops came or something, but it sounds like this guy was gonna crush this old lady, wine and dine on the chicks, and then bail. So if the cops showed up or anybody found them, he wouldn't be around. So it was one of those things that again, maybe he would be. I don't know. A lot of my nitpicks are on presumptions that I make about the plot and the storyline, and I'm kind of like, what? Like another one was kind of like, I don't understand why the fuck, when they were using the walkie-talkie, that guy answering was like a complete idiot. Who is this? Help, we need help. We're trapped in the building. Help. Is that you, Cheryl? And then, like, complete silence while she totally screams, help, they're gonna kill us. And then he's like, alright, who is this? It's like, what the fuck? Like, are you the dumbest asshole on shift or something? Like, I don't understand. I did like how they didn't show you the setting till the very end. And, like, I don't know. I thought it added to, like, him being, quote-unquote, the beast. Like, he was another beast in this cage of creatures, like, at the zoo. Like, again, probably not a metaphor or symbolism he was looking to add, but it's something that I took from it. It's a great thing about art. You can take whatever you want from it. Nobody cares. No one's going to judge you. I mean, people do, but who cares? But yeah, I mean, overall, I think the movie was pretty solid. There were some performance issues, some plot holes. I don't know. I really can't think of a lot right now because I'm just kind of on a high of like, man, that movie was good. And now I'm on a low because it's like, now I got to watch Unbreakable to see if it even matters. Like, if I watch Unbreakable, see, that's the thing. Like I said about spoilers, I know about Unbreakable. I don't know the whole plot, but that's what I want to see. I know Bruce Willis. Well, has anyone else not seen Unbreakable? I'll just put it in the description. There's Unbreakable spoilers. But basically, I know that Sam Jackson's in a wheelchair and that he becomes a villain because Bruce Willis is a hero, and Bruce Willis is like, I don't know if he's super strong or indestructible. And I just remember some weird scene where he's wearing a raincoat and he's like almost drowns in a pool. I don't know. I was telling my wife about the pool scene and she didn't know what I was talking about. But yeah, again, all I know is that at the end, Sam Jackson goes to jail and Bruce Willis is like, all right, cool. And so then he, that's how that ends. But if I watch the movie and I don't get anything else from it, I'm like, oh man, like, was I just supposed to know that Bruce Willis is the only person who can stop the Horde in terms of his cinematic universe? Which is fine. I mean, that's cool, I guess. But it doesn't seem, that's how I joked in the beginning. It doesn't seem like he cares. He's drinking his coffee, looking at the TV. He's old, because Bruce Willis, the actor, is old. It's like, what is he really going to do? Like, he doesn't look like he's going to be like, oh, I'll take care of this. Let me just finish my donut and I'll fucking squash that Horde. Like, that's not the impression I'm getting from old man Bruce Willis drinking his coffee, like, but whatever. I mean, if it happens, it happens. It'll be cool. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't as long as I thought. But I just wanted to give my general reactions and with using spoilers. That's the thing. That's why I don't mind spoilers. I'm not gonna drive in this now any more than I have to. But basically, if I try to talk about this without spoilers, it would be a 3-minute conversation of like, I like that part, but then I like, you know what, you guys gotta go see it. It's gonna be great. But then after you see it, who am I gonna talk about it with? But yeah. Anyway, thanks. I hope you enjoyed this rant / review / fascination with plot devices and just different pedophilia topics that were introduced in movies and mainstream. But yeah. Anyway, I will catch you guys next week. And I will see you on the other side. Bye. Thank you for listening. If you guys have any comments or questions, you can reach me at Unsaluted on Twitter. And don't forget, you can find these episodes on iTunes, Google Music, SoundCloud, or YouTube. And again, just thank you for listening. I will catch you guys and gals next week. Bye-bye.